Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and we try and find an ingredient of the race that we might look back on later as having been crucial to finding the winner. Well, the first race I want to look at on Sunday this week is race 7, and our winning factor here, the map. Now this class 4 has a few chances in it. I'm sure there will be plenty of fans for Zach Purton's mount, Victory Scholars. A Good Beauty has become very well handicapped. The unraced horse from the red-hot David Hayes stable, Lucky With You, has good ability. Breeze of Spring ran well in his only start with the Casper Founds, and So Awesome. He's still a maiden after 15 starts, but he is very consistent. But I've made the map the winning factor here, not for no reason. It looks critical, and let's have a look at why. There really doesn't look a whole lot of speed in this race, and position is going to be extra important. Now, Victory Scholars, Solar Power and Infinite Power are the potential leaders. I think none of those leading would really surprise anyone, with So Awesome dropping in behind them from his good draw. Now, things do look a bit more awkward for Good Beauty, Lucky With You, who has not been a good beginner in his barrier trials, or Breeze in Spring, another one who tends to get out of the gate slowly and tends to get back in the field. So the focus in the race, I think, needs to be on the horses who have the right tactical setup and are going to get lucky. And I think that brings us back to Victory Scholars and So Awesome. So let's take a look at what they've been doing, and this is race 691, and this is Victory Scholars' latest outing. He's in red colours. He jumps well, but he's not a natural pace horse, and though the pace is quite slow, as we see on the heat map, he's quickly led by Drops of God, and take him on board here as a reference for our next race as well. Victory Scholars then camps in second to the home straight, where the leader quickens up, and quickens up far too well for him. But keep an eye here on Victory Scholars. Certainly doesn't give up the fight and puts a good gap between himself and the others in the run down to the line. So that looks a good pointer, both in terms of the form around him, beaten by a promising horse there, and also his tactical abilities. But I think when we have a look at So Awesome, he also gets the right kind of setup here, and we're going to have a look at his most recent start. This is back in race 671, and he's here in brown and cream stripes from gate 4. Now, not the best to begin, as you can see there, but recovers quickly to get up into the first 5 or 6 into a trailing position behind the leading group. And that's the kind of position that we imagine him to have on Sunday. Now, he's there until they sprint for home from the top of the straight. Like the Victory Scholars we just saw, he gets a little out sprinted by the leaders, but So Awesome keeps coming, sticks on well, and he gets into a pretty handy third by the time they reach the line. So he certainly does have a chance, but for me the tip in race 7 is Victory Scholars. His winning factor, the map. I think that he's the one who gets the right setup here. Some of his main rivals we saw on the map are going to have to deal with wide gates and possibly getting back in the field in a race without a lot of speed. Victory Scholars has got the speed to be on pace, he's got the form, and I'm sure that he's going to prove the one they have to beat. As you might have guessed, the other race I want to look at on Sunday is the following event, race 8, and here our winning factor is the weights. And there are some handy horses here in this class 3, a 3-time winner, Fantasy, who ran well at his first start for a new stable. A Diamond Brilliant is a last start winner up in grade, something we often look for. Tornado Twist continues to race well, and I think the new horse from Francis Loy's stable, Rock Your Heart, is quite smart. But there's no doubt the public and the market the public creates will make this a race in 2 between Zach Purton on Winner Method and Joao Moreira on Drops of God. Both of these 3-year-olds look well above average, and we saw earlier the debut win of Drops of God with plenty of favours in the run, able to lead at a slow pace. But let's take a look at the latest offering from Winner Method, and this was his 4th start but his first defeat, unbeaten in his first 3 and all down the straight up to this time. So Let's take a look. He's in yellow and light blue colours here in race 664, and basically Winner Method has every chance here. He jumps okay, he's with the leaders, he's a 1.3 favourite here, so he was certainly expected to win. But Carroll Street, too good for him in the green and orange colours down the outside rail, and runs away to win. Certainly the effort by the second horse is full of merit though, because both of these 3-year-olds are going to be group horses next season, and on this occasion the handicaps meant Winner Method had to concede 15 pounds in weight to the winner. So it's no surprise Carroll Street got the better of him, but Winner Method kept on well, and like his previous run down the straight, looked in need of 1200 metres, which he gets on Sunday. So the story of this race and what you think about it is going to be the handicaps, and that is often the case in Hong Kong racing, where around 97% of all races are handicaps. So it's a pretty important idea. Now, there are differing opinions on the effects of weight. Some people prefer to favour the top weights, the horses with runs on the board already. Other people prefer to take the horse that's getting the weight pull from the better performed horses. And other people still think that weights have no part in the play. I'm not one of them. So let's accept that the weights do matter, and we'll take a look at a table here that shows you the fortunes over about the last 10.5 seasons of horses carrying different weights. Now you can see here the trend line from the left to the right, the high weights down to the low weights, runs downwards. That says that the winning percentage of horses with higher weights is better than the ones with lesser weights. And I think that's certainly an argument for the people who argue that the runs on the board horses with the big weights are the ones to follow. So if you were a trainer or a jockey or just somebody in a tipping competition, you would probably prefer to be on the horse with the big weight. They win more often. However, that's not useful to us really as punters. We need to know which group live up to expectations when it comes to the race results and the odds. And so we're going to have a look at a table of results here for the same period, the same group of horses, and now a different question gets a very different answer. The same data, but this time, compared to the expected wins of the market, horses carrying 127 pounds or more fall well short of expectations over the longer term, while 115 pounds up to 127 looks like the sweet zone, as it falls away once you get under 115 pounds. So that is the sweet zone there, 115 to 127, in terms of who lives up to expectations. There is some argument for the very lightweights, which we haven't shown here, but they're a very small sample of runners. So that leans me in the direction of Drops of God here, and his lightweight is probably the key to his tactics in the race as well. When we look at the map, this is no pushover for him. We saw in his win at his first start that the early pace was very slow. He was able to cross over and dictate. But this time, Zac Purton holds all the aces tactically on Winner Method. I think he's probably a quicker horse. He's drawn inside Drops of God, and he should relish the move up to 1200 metres, where he'll have the speed to quickly cross and lead them, while Drops of God has to cope with a wide draw. But what we've seen from Moreira all this season and going back into the past is that he is very willing to use the lighter weights on horses this season, like Sight Success or Courier Wonder, to name a couple. Use that weight pull and use his mount early to get forward, and he'll try to let Winner Method bring him across the face of the field. Now, if Purton does that, then tactically, Moreira's fine. If Purton decides to sit too wide outside something else, however, then Moreira has to use his horse more to keep going forward, or he has to put up with a wide run. So it isn't totally straightforward from that gate, but the tip in race 8, Drops of God. His winning factor, the weights. As we saw on the map, there are some tricks to it, but we've also seen in those statistical analyses that the horses with the light weights are the ones who live up to expectations. The higher weighted horses can often let you down. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Good luck on Sunday. We'll see you next time.